Hey guys, I'm Davey Wavey, creator of the gay erotic website Himeros.tv, and today I am joined by sex coach Finn Deerhart and my best friend Matthew Thomas, and we are talking about discovering your erogenous zones. I like to think of this as our pre-Christmas blowout sale. It's just it's us, and all the clothes are 100% off.
You and these, oh my God, I love it.
So
I want you to flash a 1-800 number on the screen.
Seriously.
So let's get started. Himeros Live is sponsored by Himeros.tv. Himeros.tv envisions a world in which all gay and bisexual men experience their sex and sexuality with joy. Created by Davey Wavey, Himeros.tv takes everything that you love about porn, the models, the cum shots, the fucking, and combines it with authenticity, vulnerability, pleasure, and sexual exploration through videos that are co-created by a team of sex coaches and tantric instructors, all designed to give you the best gay sex of your life. Joseph says Himeros.tv is the caviar of gay porn. It is time to join the gay porn revolution at Himeros.tv. Himeros.tv. It's like porn, but better.
I like that intro.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
switch it up every now and then.
Yeah.
So how was your week, guys?
The week is great. I'm recovering. I'm rebounding from having respiratory stuff. So I feel just grateful today that I can breathe.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
What did you have?
I don't know. You know how the smoke was in the bay for a while? I think
Yeah.
everybody's lungs just got kind of, hit from that. And then we've all been having a corresponding lung thing.
Were you phlegmy?
Yeah. Phlegmy.
Makes for good lube though, right?
No. It actually makes for an unpleasant dick sucking experience for me.
Okay.
It doesn't taste the same.
The dick doesn't taste the same?
No, because when you're in that state, it changes the chemistry in your mouth. You're not tasting the real thing. You're tasting your drama in your mouth.
Wow. I like a really when there's a blowjob scene and there's just drool and phlegm and spit pouring out and all over the dick and wads.
So, but that's saliva. That's not bacteria though.
Matt's shaking his head.
Absolutely not.
He likes a real dry one.
Leave the drool, make it wet, but we don't need to be drooling out the side of your mouth. No, I don't need all that.
Okay. How was your week, Matt?
Week was good. No complaints. I'm just ready for the holidays to get here and ready to take some time off from work. I'm sure everyone who's listening is ready to get some time off from work.
Everybody's nodding their head.
Exactly.
I saw Matt at his surprise birthday party this past weekend.
You sure did.
Finn, you weren't invited. I'm sorry. Maybe next year.
I would love to just hop a plane and come to your birthday party.
Well, we could make that happen next year.
You could.
Yeah, it was a nice little brunch. It was cute. I saw all Matt's friends. It was nice.
You weren't paying attention to me or my friends. You were paying attention to that waiter.
Oh, well, so were you, girl.
Listen, we're not talking about me.
It was your birthday. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
No.
Is that true?
Absolutely not.
Did you have cake? What kind of cake did you have?
It was a strawberry shortcake.
Mm.
Yeah. It was. I say it was good. Dave.
It went down good. It went down great.
Yeah, it came out messy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they all want to hear about that too.
Exactly.
So you guys doing anything special? Happy holidays. Is Santa coming down your chimney?
I am actually, we haven't even discussed it yet. My partner and I, we're just going to be here by ourselves. We're not going anywhere. So I'm open to that day just being kind of a magical exploration.
Oh, that's cute. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
It's too bad you're not closer to Rhode Island because my mom is doing a really mean lobster mac and cheese.
Mm.
And we're a little light on the family this year. So
that would be fun. Well, the thought is warming. I love it. Thank you.
It's good too. It's really good.
It's a mean mac and cheese. Yeah,
it is. And she does this Ritz cracker, bread crust.
Wow.
Bringing back memories. It's good.
Oh. Awesome. Well, maybe someday.
So something nutso kind of happened this week, which is last week I think we were talking about the YouTube documentary that I posted showing Max Adonis during the tantric retreat for porn stars. So since we last talked about that video, it has more than 600,000 views, which like that might not mean a lot to people in general, but like if one of my videos gets 100,000 views in a week, I consider that a success. So 600,000 is like pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with that. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the thumbnail, which kind of looks like there's 3 people having sex. So I think people just kind of clicked. YouTube is a platform that's built on basically on clickbait. So if you are just starting out on YouTube, if you're a young aspiring YouTuber, the recipe for success is making it look like it's sex.
Right.
But anyway, a lot of people watch the video, and so this funny thing happened though, because like I really thought like as people discovered what we were doing, like we were going to get this surge in Himeros.tv memberships, that it was going to like really translate. Like people would come over in droves to the site and like want to be a part of this, and that really didn't happen. And so I kind of got like a little, I don't know, I felt like a little disheartened, and I was like, a video of this magnitude, if you guys haven't seen it, you should watch it on YouTube if you're listening. It's expensive to like produce something like that and have camera crews and get everyone there. So, ultimately I have to kind of like measure the success. And part of that is like the financials of it. And it, it wasn't necessarily panning out in the way that I had expected. And then I got this really sweet email from Brad Amberhart, who's the tantra coach that is in the documentary, about all the wonderful reactions that his friends had to the video. And like, I mean, they're just so sweet. And like, everything from a man saying like this was his dream, and he dreamed for the day when he would see something like this. And it kind of shifted me to think like the measure of success of this video is not just going to be by dollars and cents, but by the reaction that people had. And if for 600,000 people, they watched this and heard Brad's words in the video or were touched by Max's story, like that has to count for something in that too. There's value in that.
Yeah. I'm wondering too, you probably know way more about this than I would, but is it a process of time for people? Like maybe maybe people need exposure to things multiple times before they start pulling out their credit card, like I know some people are pretty quick on that, but I know a lot of people, it's like, even just on a local level, my events, they might see it 10 times and tell me every time they see me, oh yeah, I'm going to come. And they finally do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, I think you're right. Like there was some value in like the branding, and probably most of those people had never heard of Himeros.tv. And so maybe if they see something a second time or a third time. So yeah, I don't know. I just figured like, I get that most people don't want to pay for erotic content, but even if like 1/10 of 1%,
right,
like that would have still been like 600 people or something, like that would have
right.
I would have for sure noticed that, like but no. So the second video is coming out either tomorrow or Saturday, the second documentary, and this one's going to be on Adam Ramsey. So
cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that lands. I definitely have like a stronger like call to action for people to join my email list in it at the very least. So we'll see what the response is.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So anyway, exciting that a lot of people saw that.
I loved that documentary. I'm excited to see part 2.
Yeah, part 2, and there's a part 3 and a part 4.
Yay.
So I'll spread part 3 and 4 out a little bit.
Who are the other people that are in it? Do you want to like reveal that or no?
Yeah, so the first one was Max Adonis. The second one is Adam Ramsey. He's the kind of bearded. He looks like he's in Game of Thrones. He does, right? It looks like Game of Thrones.
Okay,
no.
Yeah. Yeah, with like a blonde. He has like blonde like highlights though. I don't know.
Yeah, he's edgy. He's the gay character in Game of Thrones. The edgy the gay queen. And his angle is kind of, this is very much about, he's 36. And so he's kind of in this weird age, he's saying, where he's like, not a boy, but not yet a daddy. What's that Britney Spears thing? Like, not a girl, not yet a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the title. Maybe that should be the title of the documentary. No, not a boy, not yet a daddy.
That's awesome.
But it focuses kind of on his own journey as he's like moving through his mid-30s. And then we also have this really interesting element with Norm, who's 84, and the scene that we filmed with Norm. And so Adam interacting with Norm, who's 50 years older than him. So stay tuned.
Yay.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, so Matt, to answer your question, the other two are.
I'll let you keep going. I was like, okay.
The other two are Calvin Banks, who's who's been in a few of our videos. He's a Cocky Boys exclusive model, and then the fourth person is Alexander Mecum.
Mecum.
Yeah, you come, me come, we all come. I don't know. I don't make up the names. So.
I'll have to look him up.
All right. So today's video is titled Discovering Your Erogenous Zones, and it's featuring Max Adonis and Alexander Mecum.
Oh, okay.
So the full video is up on himeros.tv for members. Or if you're not a member, you can still enjoy the free preview, and I hope that you watch it with a great deal of guilt. That's not true. Please don't. Just enjoy it. Much like the aforementioned documentary, this was filmed during the tantric retreat for porn stars, and the video actually it cuts back and forth between black and white footage of the Erogenous Zones workshop that we did, and then Max and Alex practicing those techniques through some really hot sex, and they do fuck in the video, but they also do a bunch of other things in the video that basically like stimulates the entire body. They bite each other's thighs, they lick backs, they nibble ears, suck toes, blow into their butts, lots and lots of really juicy things. And then, yeah, they do fuck. So I'm curious, what did you guys think of the video?
I loved the video. It's one of my favorite to date.
Why is that?
For all kinds of reasons. I liked how you could hear their breaths and their sound. I liked the way that it was edited with Brad's comments in and out, directing focus and attention. I liked watching them do all those playful, creative things with each other's bodies and, just slowing down the process. And then their laughter with each other. Like you could see them being like really serious sometimes or really playful sometimes, just having a spectrum of emotion, which is much more realistic to me. And I thought it was sexy and I loved it.
So it felt like real sex to you.
It did. It felt so much more like the real person having sex. It was cool for me to watch that too after having watched the documentary about Max as well, just having that in my mind and consciousness as I watched him then in that video with Mecum.
Alexander Mecum, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. So it was really nice and lots of different layers again of how I think it really is to have sex with someone and open up more,
Yeah. How is it for you, Matt?
I thought it was really authentic. Like I definitely thought there was a sense of connection. In a lot of your videos, you have someone, even yourself sometimes, talking in the background. Mm-hmm. So when I heard that guy talking in the background, I didn't think anything of it. So I wasn't actually making the connection that part of what was happening was just the workshop. I thought it was just a voiceover. Mm-hmm. And then when I saw at one point the third guy, the teacher for the workshop is actually there in one of the shots, I'm like, oh, wait, that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. And I thought that to me was even more cool because it's like, wow, like look at what they're doing. And you sense this connection between them, and yet more or less someone is actually directing them as they go along. But what's happening just between them seems so natural. But I really like the way that it was done. And now understanding that, seeing how you're cutting back and forth between the different parts, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about with so that's Brad Amberhart's voice that you hear in the film, and I kind of watched it with that fresh perspective of like, okay, if you don't recognize his voice, if you don't know who he is, you're kind of hearing this disembodied voice in it. You're not really sure if it's like a narration or what it is. But then there's this kind of moment where it's revealed, and I thought that was kind of fun. Matt, one of the things that you said is that like a lot of the videos, like even if you enjoy them, they're not necessarily the material that people would jerk off to. Do you feel like this is something people could jerk off to?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I could see for a lot of the videos you could, but I think there's more to it than that.
Did you jerk off to it, Matt? Did you jerk off to it?
No, I did not.
I'm just kidding. You're getting a little phlegm there too.
I am. I'm sorry. Hold on one second.
I love that question, Davey, but I also think, I was about to say, if you coin a video like this is an educational video, I think that people are going to have an assumption already and just go, oh, I don't want to watch that, or maybe just go into it with this like, But having those voiceovers come in at key moments as you're watching it, it was like a creative way to add an educational element, but it still preserved the element of like hotness and sexuality that I think maybe gets lost sometimes in just strictly educational films. So I don't jerk off to porn by just practice, but this is one that if I were going to, and answer your question, I could and would be interested. Yeah, it's like it was hot enough for me to really feel like I could be aroused and be involved in it.
See, I like the content overall for, I guess, an educational purpose in the sense of, wow, like I could incorporate that, or I never thought about that. I've never looked at what you're creating in terms of let me just jerk off and come. And I honestly think that looking at what you're doing from that point of view is lessening the quality and the intention of what the work is meant to be. I think it's meant to be a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's funny that I even like hold that as a bar to the content that like, is this something you could jerk off to? But I think I'm just trying to appease as many audiences as possible. Like our mission is not to create jerk off material. Our mission is to help gay men have, the best sex of their lives through connection and intimacy, pleasure, sexual exploration, all those things. But I'm also realistic that from like a marketing perspective, that a lot of people, the way they interact with porn is jerking off to it. So it's trying to almost like hijack that medium of like, while they're jerking off, they're also consuming something that doesn't take away from their sexuality, but actually contributes to it. Something that's not destructive, but that's actually constructive. It'd be interesting to take a survey to see for members, like how people use the material that we create. Do they jerk off to it? Do they watch it? Like, is it a combination of all those things? I will say in my experience that I think this is the hottest Himeros TV video that we filmed. I was in the yurt when we did this scene, and I can't remember which day of the retreat it was. But usually when we film, and Finn, you know this from being on set, that like you're approaching the set from like the standpoint of supporting the models. I'm approaching the set from the standpoint of being the producer. Like I'm kind of in a professional mode. And when this scene started unfolding in the yurt on the bed, like I was super turned on by it. Like I was like, this is fucking hot. Like this is good sex. And when it was over, I was like, I don't smoke. I felt like I needed a cigarette. Like just for being in the room was just like, oh, like, man, that was some good sex. We also didn't interrupt the guys when they were filming. We kind of we said, they had gone through the workshop, and we weren't concerned with like angles or, do-overs. It's just like, have fun, like do everything that you learned, make this authentic, like practice touching each other's, erogenous zones, and take this wherever you guys want. So like we captured something that was real.
Yeah. I mean, do you not think that that's why it was so hot for you? That's part of why it's so hot. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, we've taken that approach before. And there was just some sort of alignment that happened here, and also the chemistry of the guys, and like having been in that workshop, like it all just kind of like fell into place. Whereas just like we were all kind of just like sitting around and like watching this incredible sex unfold.
It's like you guys made a space for them to feel safe, to open up and to just express and to play and, put down their guards and I think that's what you can feel in it. That's what I liked about it.
Can you imagine being that authentic, and comfortable, in front of an audience and a camera crew?
Oh. It'd be hard, I think.
Yeah. It's really a talent. We can have authentic sex behind closed doors in our bedrooms, but once there's an audience on there, it's hard not to make it like a performance, I guess. And so anyway, the whole point of this video though was to help people discover their erogenous zones, and those are kind of like the pleasure points in your body, what feels good. So when we were doing this video, this is a list that Brad Amberhart gave us, and I want to read it so that you guys at home can think outside of the dick to ass and dick to ass and cock to mouth box. Right. So this is one of those do try at home moments. Okay, there's 10 things on this list, so brace yourselves. I'm just gonna go right through. Gently biting or nibbling the side of a guy's hand. So for people that are watching, I'm demonstrating.
Uh-huh.
Nibbling the end of a toe just under the toenail. Rubbing the pelvic bone. Nibbling the back of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbing beard scruff on the inner thighs.
Mm-hmm.
Nipples, obviously, that's an easy one. Pressure on the palm. So I think applying pressure right here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe rubbing it, I guess. I don't know. Nibbling on the side of a foot. Massaging the sides of a body, so the lower, the abdomen area, lower middle abdomen area. And then the last thing on the list, number 10, is a vibration sound at the taint. Bet you haven't tried that. Have you tried that, Finn?
I mean, I don't know about at the taint. But yeah, I like to make sound. You know where I saw this? Okay, the movie Short Bus. Do you remember Short Bus?
Yeah.
Where he's singing into the guy's ass, and he was just really loving that. So I'm something about that. I don't know where along the way I picked that up, but yeah, making some sound vibration when you're eating ass or that whole area.
That works.
It'll stimulate. Yeah, it's another layer of stimulation with the tongue and the wetness, and then vibration too. Super good.
So. Because I was kind of skeptical, what does vibrating at the taint do? But I filmed a YouTube video with Thiel Knox, who's a porn star, where we explored a bunch of these, and then we used a bunch of sex toys, prostate stimulators and stuff. And so we were laughing at the vibration at the taint because I was vibrating his taint. I had my face in his shorts, and then when we were using the prostate toys, a lot of them have a little component that comes out and that touches you under your balls. So when it's on and it's going zzz, that area under your taint is being, is vibrating. Is essentially this is just the budget version of having a vibrating prostate toy.
Totally.
Just use your partner.
Yes, and you know that the nerve endings at that one place start from the top of your lip and go over your head and down under your asshole to the taint, and then from this lip on your bottom lip down your front side all the way through your genitals into that place too. So if you're vibrating that place and kissing, it closes those nerve endings, the loop, and it intensifies it too.
Is that real?
Yeah. The nerve endings.
I think what Finn says is gospel. I believe it all.
Oh.
But what does that mean to it closes the circuit? It just feels to me when someone's I'm on the cayenne pepper cleanse, I'm cleansing my body or something.
Well, I know, right? Just the meridians that run from the lip over the head and back. Maybe you've seen a map of meridians from a acupuncturist. Well, it stimulates them together, and when you feel, have you ever sometimes have you ever experienced when you're masturbating and you really hone in on a particular part of your dick, for instance, and you feel how it kind of connects to another part of your body somehow?
No.
Well, there are those
Another part of my body? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like the nerves are connected. There's a whole, sexual reflexology is like a whole modality where they like massage different parts of your penis to like really help clear out blockages in other parts of your body. Like the foot, like reflexology. I know, I love the face you're making. It's true.
So you're telling me that like there's a part of my penis that's like connected to my like elbow.
I don't know about the elbow, but it does connect. It connects, throughout the body. Those nerves are all wired together. It's like a network of energetic connection.
So is this like an energetic meridian thing that like you can't actually see, but that people sense, or are there actual like nerve endings that go from like a specific part of like my penis to another part of my body?
I don't think it's like one continuous nerve, but like the meridians and that are like the channel that the energetic charges flow through to conduct messages from the spinal cord through your body. It's like if you decide to whack off when you go to grab your cock, that was like a relay of electrical messages.
How do we see these meridians? Like, how do we know that they exist?
Google like a Chinese medicine, or an acupuncturist chart.
Okay,
you can see the whole net of them all over the whole body and the names of the different channels.
I guess my question is more like like how do we know that they exist outside of Google? Like if you Google it, you can see a map of it. But like, is that something that you can map in some like scientific way, or is it just kind of a system of beliefs that we have?
Well, I've never mapped them myself, but I mean, like they're the foundation of like the Chinese medicine.
Well, what do they know? What if thousands of years? What if thousands of years of medicine? No,
like acupuncture. Yeah.
Okay.
Just go whack off and like try to feel into where your body that's showing up.
Yeah, I'm probably okay. When I'm doing Pilates and I'm doing a stretch, she's like, "Where do you feel this?" And I'm like, "Somewhere in my body." So,
vibrating the taint.
Vibrating the taint. Yeah. Oh, and in the YouTube video though, the kind of the climax, if you will, of the video is that we have this 19-inch butt toy. It's called like a 19-inch hosed beaded snake dildo or something like that. And we put it up his butt.
19 inches.
All 19 inches?
He got, I think there were like 8 bumps on it, and he got 5 of them inside of him.
Wow.
Matt's given up. He's retiring right now. The hands came up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hot because he was also like really into it, and he makes these like faces when he's like taking it.
Who's he?
Thyle Knox, the porn star.
Oh,
yeah,
from the taint. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Okay, wow. So
that's intense.
So he got more than half of it.
Yeah, he got like.
See, his meridians were tingling.
His meridians were off the charts, girls. It was like he probably had like 11 inches of it in him.
Oh.
God, and when it came out, it was crystal clear, pristine. That's a gift. It's a gift. You could have stirred soup with it. I mean, it was like pristine, spotless. Great. So
sanitized, in fact.
Yeah, it actually came out cleaner than when it went in. Yeah. So why don't you guys think that why don't people explore these erogenous zones during sex? Why is it that sex is so focused on just like the genitals?
I think it goes back to what we've always said. How do most of us first learn about sex is through porn. And beyond that, it's the curiosity of the quote unquote private parts, like what we're not supposed to be looking at, like what we're not supposed to, know anything about, and have this curiosity that we want to explore. And I think that we hone in on that. And then we have porn, which really doesn't teach us to explore more. It's all more or less sex the same way. Maybe yes, fetishes, kinks, things like that, but it doesn't really teach you to explore the other parts of your body.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying. It's like there's a lot of shame around sexuality, especially in I can't speak for other cultures, but definitely in ours, there's a lot of shame around it. And so it creates a dynamic where people, their capacity for pleasure is limited. I mean, look at how many people are utilizing substances to be able to feel sexual highs, but you can have those sexual highs without a substance if you
Just tap into those meridians. That's all you have to do.
Yes, and
close the circuits.
So open up your capacity to feel. It's like slowing down and just like Matt was saying, like just allowing yourself to experience more pleasure.
I feel like that first happens, at least for me. I think that started to experience that when I was jerking off by myself and like touching myself. Like that's how I first kind of learned about that. And
about
I guess
what, erogenous zones?
Yeah, just not knowing that that's what it was, but just other parts of my body that like felt good to me, that I knew like I wanted someone to touch.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were jerking off, you were like kind of exploring other parts of your body.
Correct.
Yeah. I also think a lot of the approach that a lot of gay men or men in general take to sex is it's very goal oriented, and that goal is to come. And like to that end, like that like jerking off, like that's what gets you there, is like quickly, like efficiently as possible, just like jerk your dick and you come. I don't think a lot of guys, when they sit down at the computer to pull up some porn, are thinking, all right, like let's see how I can like maximize my pleasure. Like let me discover some things that feel good. Like I think they want to get off, they want to not be horny, they want to shoot a load, feel the high of an orgasm. But it takes kind of a shifting in what your goal is there, to start to want to explore these other parts of your body.
Yeah,
I do think it makes sex so much better to make it a whole body experience and not just think about the butt and the dick.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All those nerve endings need to be touched.
Yep. I don't know. I don't know much in life. I don't at all, but I do know that making sex a whole body experience is really important to making it fun and pleasurable and exciting and adventurous. It's like you always, even if you think you know everything, you still, like Finn, I'm sure like you and your like you guys have been together for a while, but like you're probably still discovering things about each other's bodies.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had like a whole new wave just this week, even. I'm really appreciating his body in new ways and feeling like a new experience there. It's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. You should try getting foot fucked someday.
Me? You know what? Oh no. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
future episode.
Yeah.
All right, so let's answer some questions. If you guys have questions at home, send them to Davey, Davey, at daveywavey.tv. Question number 1, I live for this one. I've listened to a few of your podcasts and watched some of your YouTube videos, and it seems like you only talk about sex. I'm also gay, and having sex is part of that, but there's also a lot more to the world. Consider getting a hobby so you and your co-host have more to talk about. For that, I feel like we've answered a question like this before, but this is the first time that you guys have been looped into it too.
I know. So it's like vitriol.
I just want to speak on behalf of Matt that like
you're much nicer than I am. You take the floor.
Well, I was just gonna say, like for Finn and for me, like gay sex is a big part of our lives. Like this is kind of my only channel. Like this is it. You know, all gay sex all time. But Matt actually does have like a life outside of gay sex. So leave him out of this. Matt has a job and friends and a livelihood, and for Finn and I, maybe it's more fair game, but
wow. Is it though? I mean, we open our podcast every week by talking about a video that is on your website that is for the purposes about sex and sexual exploration. Right. Like that's why you're tuning in the first place. So I'm really confused by 1, how he stumbled across your podcast, and 2, how he's confused about what he's going to hear listening in. So for me, it's like,
it's called a niche. Like this is the niche. Like what? If we talked about a different subject each week, today we're going to talk about like Trump withdrawing from Syria, and like next week we're gonna talk about quilts. You know, like,
but not only that, like we're here to answer other questions as well. So we've talked about like our own personal growth and development, not just sexually, but also just loving and appreciating ourselves and building our confidence. Like, yes, in some ways it does relate to sex, but we don't strictly just talk about sex. We've talked about relationship stuff too.
Well, yes, go ahead, Finn.
Well, and sex is connected to everything else. I mean, it's connected to everything else in our life. So, I mean, we all have a different perspective on here too. You know, like I feel like in the gay scene, you can't get around not, talking about sex. You can't go anywhere without hearing about it, talking about it. So it's like, well, how do I want to talk about that subject? I don't want to just always sit around and talk about hooking up. So I talk about the things about sex that really matter to me, like helping guys really understand what's going on for them and healing. And, there's a lot about it. So
and at the end of the day, this is a gay sex podcast.
So, thank you.
Like, I just, to my example of quilts, like if I made podcasts about quilts, would people be emailing me and being like, there's more to life than quilts? Like, why is it that like like sex has become this like you can tell a doctor, like, there's more to life than medicine. Like, like this is what I do. This is my full-time job. This is my niche. And I'm passionate about it. The only other thing I'm this passionate about is food. So it's like either you're putting it in this end in my mouth, or you're putting it in this end up my ass.
I would encourage this person to look at the reason why there's so much energy coming up around that, and almost I would interpret this as anger.
But I just want to know why do you tune in? Like, what made you look at this in the first place? Like, what was your expectation of what this was? And I'm sorry that we aren't it, but you could probably find it somewhere else if this isn't for you.
Yeah. I have some great quilting podcast recommendations.
Exactly. Like, and that wasn't even a question. Like, where's the first question?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's just, I guess, general feedback. Okay, question. This is a real question. I've been following you for many years. I love what you're doing with Himeros.tv and have been really enjoying the podcast. See, there's at least one out there. I've been with my boyfriend for nearly 4 years now, and we've lived together for 3. On the face of it all, we're the perfect couple. We make each other laugh. We go on lots of holidays and days out. So we have a lot in common and have the cutest 6-month-old kitten. However, we have a big secret. We haven't had sex for almost a year. When we first started dating, we had sex nearly every night that we saw each other. And then we moved in together and our sex life fell off a cliff. It only seemed to happen on birthdays and odd occasions. We have discussed it many times and just don't seem to get anywhere. He is a secondary school teacher and works almost 60 hours a week. I work in retail and have a busy and physical role. He tends to get run down and ill quite a bit, and the stress kills any kind of libido. He has been to the doctors about his stress levels, but they've just told him to eat well, exercise, and have less caffeine. Do you and your guest have any suggestions to help to get our sex life back on track? Finn, I know you were fired up about this one. You were excited.
Well, I love this question.
We shared them ahead of time through text, and Finn was like, ooh, question number 2.
Yeah, I love that question.
Why do you love it, Finn?
Because a lot of guys are in this boat and they don't know what to do, and they start to blame their boyfriend, and they feel kind of hopeless sometimes. And then, of course, we get angry if we're in this kind of situation, or we shut down, or all kinds of things. But I love it because this is like a human dynamic that happens in almost all relationships at some point. It ebbs and flows. So I want to normalize that. And then just kind of look at the forces that are at play in your relationship. I mean, how are you both showing up at home? It sounds like there's a lot of stress, and like when we pick a partner, we pick a particular story. So we start acting a certain way all the time. And then maybe all these other parts of ourselves we're not really honoring. So there could be all kinds of stuff going on under the surface for these two guys, and brewing, like it's, like for one thing, when we're out, like hanging out with people we haven't seen in a long time, we tend to like be really present and excited to see them, and like just really focused on them and not on our phones. And a lot of times when we have like, it sounds like this, rigorous schedule, and coming home and tired, and it's like kind of shut down, and we're only parts of ourselves at home, it's kind of boring, and it doesn't really start some playful, kind connection with each other. So my advice is to get some tools, get some language to start talking about what's going on for you. Figure out if you're really committed with each other. And if you are, then just like go at it collaboratively and not like blame each other for what's happening, but just like look at it like, you know, and also don't go to this like discussion around like, we're not having sex. And then like just talking about we're not having sex. You have to get out of that and like start doing something playful and like go somewhere, go on a really interesting date, like do something where you're in your body and you're like just having fun with each other, and then notice how you can be flirty and things come up again. And I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
So, I mean, I'll put myself in this boat. Every time I've been in a relationship and I've moved in with someone, this has happened to me. And it hasn't been until fairly recently that I think I've kind of understood why it's happened for me. And this is my situation, not necessarily theirs. But I think it's in your approach to sex. Like I am someone that is, like, you know, when I'm single or like I'm having sex with multiple partners and having these really intense, you know, encounters. Sometimes it's someone that you've just met off of Grindr and it's really exciting and there's this kind of surge of energy. And sex is very different when it's with someone that you know really well, and especially someone that you're living with, like a partner. And I think like it's a different flavor of sex. And like if you're expecting that like intense hot hookup sex, like you can maybe get there through role play or like I'm sure there's the vehicles to access that. But to me, it's a different flavor of sex of, okay, this isn't about us getting off. This isn't, it's a different intensity than it's intense in a different way than a hookup is. And this is about you, like expressing the way you feel for each other through like physical contact, with intimacy. And I think it's just a different approach.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's an overlay, like you were saying, of so many different things. And I will say that I do have sex with my partner. Sometimes it feels like a hookup. It's not all the time, but it happens. And we have had to learn to create those experiences. And for most of us, if we've been out dating and we're not used to an intimate relationship, it definitely always is going to bring this stuff up. So you can totally navigate it.
Yeah. And maybe take like coming off the table, just like, okay, we're going to just do this to play and to have fun and like sing the Star Spangled Banner into each other's ass. Like, you know, yeah, like
there's so many resources out there. You know, if you're hearing this and you want to reach out to me through my website, I can definitely hook you up with book connections and things like that to help you dig in more.
It's funny because when I saw this question, I was like, I don't really know if I want to participate in answering this, but Dave knows a little bit about this. Like I have been going through something where I have been the boyfriend that he's talking about, where I legitimately have no libido, like at all. And it's mainly because of stress. Like with the job that I have, Dave knows, particularly this month, like we talk every day. We maybe talk once a week, if that. I am completely stressed out and have no time or energy in weekends. All I want to do is sleep. Like as much as sex is honestly like the last thing that's on my mind. And for a while, like I thought there was something wrong with me. Like I went to the doctor, I got tested for my like testosterone levels, and the doctor said, your testosterone is perfectly normal. There is nothing wrong with you, but let's talk about your level of stress. So my level of stress is high. My blood pressure was high. I'm not working out and I'm not eating as well as I probably could all of the time. And all of those things really do contribute to your libido and your sex life as you get older. It's a fact. Like it affects all of us differently, but for some, it can have a pretty significant impact on your libido. For me and my boyfriend, we've taken a very interesting approach to it. First being that you need to remove the stress of the idea of having sex off of the table, because on top of the stress that is going on in your life as far as work and family and whatnot, then when you're in this relationship and you're going to bed together or you're in the bedroom at night, whatever time of the day, there's this immediate sense of stress, like, oh my God,
it feels like another thing on the to-do list.
Exactly. And it takes all of the fun out of it. And I think that for these guys, like the first thing I would tell them is that you need to not look at it that way. Like you need to just approach to what you guys are saying is just having fun together, like getting back to just enjoying each other in the bedroom, and it not being about coming, it not being about being hard, and making sure that whether or not you are hard, you're doing what you can to satisfy your partner. If that's not through sex, like you may not be having sex, but that's not a reason to not take eating their ass, giving them head, teasing them, whatever, taking all of those other things off of the table as well. So I think that for this guy who says he has no libido, my question is, are you at least making an effort to be sexual, to be in touch with your mate? Because that at times is more important than you just being hard and being ready to fuck. Like, are you opening yourself up and being open, to having that intimacy? So I think they need to remove the stress of the sex, maybe remove themselves from their normal environment. They said they used to go out on holidays together, like go somewhere and just enjoy each other and accept each other where you're at and find ways of pleasing each other and have fun with it. And I think that his diet and working out is important if he's not doing that, because that'll also help move things along a lot more quickly.
Like the gospel according to Matthew.
Yes.
There you go.
And like I love what you said. It's similar to what I was saying too. Like a mindfulness practice would help you slow down and be less stressed, but you got to get playful. You can't just talk about we're not having sex. I've been in that boat too, where I'm in a stressed out spot and I keep talking about the fact that we're not having sex, and that just makes him want to run and not want to have sex because that's not sexy.
It's too intense.
Yeah.
I always feel like when it does feel like it's a to-do item, that it does. Sometimes it feels like it's like on the to-do list, that if you can take like getting ready to have sex, like if you're going to do anal sex with the douching and like getting ready is just so fucking annoying and overwhelming that like maybe take that off the table. Like, okay, we're not going to douche. We're not going to do that, but like we're going to enjoy each other's bodies in really fun, creative ways. And to me, that is still a form of sex, even if you're not getting fucked. Great. Well, I feel like we poured our hearts out to that.
One.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Question number 3. I am wondering if you have made or could make a video of men watching some of your films while circle jerking. I'm so glad you asked. Because yes, we actually did 2 circle jerk videos. They weren't watching our videos while doing a circle jerk. That's an interesting idea. But one was an intergenerational circle jerk that Finn and I were, filmed. I was gonna say we were a part of, but we were in the sidelines. But next week's Himeros.tv video is a circle jerk. And it's also one that includes cum-filled s'mores. So on that note, next week, we will talk about a video titled "I'll Have Some More." So, Finn, where can people get more of you?
FinnDeerhart.com. FinnDeerhart.com.
Awesome. Well, make sure you guys go to Himeros.tv to see what we're doing and watch free previews and become a member. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you at home for listening. And as always, more to come.